Hello and welcome to the Landscaper Growth Show. My name is Mark. I'm the host. Today I'm speaking with Anthony Graci at Anthony and Sons Landscaping in Whitestone in Queens, New York. Anthony, thanks so much for being with us today.
Thank you.
Yeah, it's been fun talking here before the show already. Definitely interested in what you guys are up to. We've taken a look. You guys are just highly rated and you've been doing this for a long time. Looks like an awesome business you guys have. I'd love to start just by hearing what services you provide for your customers there in Whitestone.
So we're a full service design team. We pretty much will handle a full design for our clients from implementation of what the proper design and plans to be used on your property. After designing and installing that, we also offer a full maintenance programs for our clients as well.
Okay, great. And what's the radius area that you guys work in, Anthony?
In terms of service, we pretty much handle a 40-mile radius for
Okay.
service, for weekly service. We, for installation, will go a little bit further depending on the project and the scope involved in the project.
Amazing. Okay, so you guys are covering kind of the whole city. I mean, is that New
Pretty
York?
much.
I mean, does that cover pretty? Okay.
Pretty much the five boroughs and the North Shore of Long Island.
Okay. Embarrassingly, I've never been to New York. I don't know what I'm doing over here. I feel like I feel like a bad kid, a traitor or something to the U.S. We traveled so much, but New York is one place I have never been. I can't wait to go. Okay, so you guys cover the five boroughs, and then a little bit outside of that as well. Okay, great. And you say kind of 40-mile radius for maintenance. Just curious about the maintenance aspect. So, I mean, do you have maintenance accounts that are sort of lawn mowing and this type of thing, or when you're talking about maintenance, is this a maintenance of the other project work that you guys have done and kind of maintenance of the kind of, I don't know, larger landscape projects versus kind of more mowing type, maintenance customers?
So we offer full service maintenance programs for all of our clients. The clients that fall outside of our maintenance service area will offer one time or a 2 time a year visit where we'll go in, we'll do pruning, fertilizing. But in terms of the properties that we maintain on a weekly basis, it's a full service. We'll offer pruning, trimming, detail trimming, edging of all the beds, fertilization, insect control, fungus control, weed control on the lawns. And pretty much they're all, every week, and we do what we need to do as the time comes.
Gotcha. Okay. So it's Anthony and Sons Landscaping. Would love to hear, we talked about this some before, it's a family run business. You guys have been doing this for 30 years, long, long time. How is it set up with you and your sons? Kind of who does what?
So my I have 2 older sons that are actively working with me now. Ironically, when I named it Anthony and Sons, it was originally called A&S, which my parents own a nursery called A&S. So I brought the name ahead of me and I named it A&S. And then as I had my first 2 sons, I changed the name of the company to Anthony and Sons. And from there, I actually had 2 more sons. So we have 4 sons. We're blessed with boys.
Fantastic.
Yeah. So my oldest son is 18. My middle son is 15. And they're working with me now, and we'll see where it goes from there.
Okay, fantastic. I noticed you guys are doing residential and commercial. What percentage is residential versus commercial?
From a revenue standpoint, I'd say it's probably 40% commercial to 60% residential.
Okay, awesome. Taking a look at some of the photos on your site, I noticed some of the brands you guys have worked with in commercial, just some like really well-known brands, right? I'm always curious, how do you break into the commercial work? A lot of our listeners are mainly working with residential companies. it's a whole different kind of business working with commercial, but it seems like it's a great part to add to the business just for kind of stability and different things. But I'm always curious, how do you break into commercial?
That's a great question. It's definitely a lot more difficult to get into the commercial end of things and a lot more competitive to get in there, where a lot of people who are using a company are typically comfortable with a company and they don't want to take a risk on moving on to another company. So you'll find that there's two ways that a client is going to be looking for someone new. It's either A, they're doing their budgeting and they want someone cheaper, or B, they're just looking for better service. And I found that never, you know, come down to be the cheaper guy. If they're, you can't get both things that you're looking for. You can't get a better price and better service. So I found just having properties that are looking good and, you have your name out there doing the right thing for your clients when they're looking for a good company and you can prove yourself to them. I think communication is everything. Go in, see what's wrong with their property, do an evaluation of what's really happening on their property, why they're looking for someone new, and, say, hey, listen, this is what it's going to cost to get this the right way. If it doesn't fit into their budget, give them somewhat of a breakdown of, a scheduling of how we can implement all that into their property and getting things right over a longer period of time.
Wow, that is fantastic. Taking notes here, man. Fantastic. So, Anthony just really covered on some just really powerful tips here, and I want to kind of break down here what I heard. If commercial, is more competitive over there, if someone's looking for a new landscaper to work with, it's because either they're doing their budgeting and they're trying to get a lower price that's not the one that you want, or B is they're looking for better service. And so if you can be there and show that you're providing better service, do a free evaluation of the property, and then work with him to figure out how you can get to the number that you need, right? But basically go the sort of better service route. It's amazing advice.
And I feel like the biggest thing is my motto is treat your client the way you would want to be treated. I can't stand when you call somebody and then they're not calling you back or they don't follow up with you. Just be honest. Everybody gets busy. Say, hey, listen, and don't give somebody a date on when you're going to do something and you're not going to follow through on it. Just treat a client the way you want to be treated. And like I mentioned, if things don't work out for the budgeting, give them some, options on how we can get to their main goal. And, over time you can achieve that. And we're reluctant enough that most of our commercial clients that we get, we retain them for a long period of time. And then, on the commercial end, a lot of these property managers, they're in a loop where they communicate with one another. So the last thing you want to be is that guy that doesn't follow through because the word gets around really quick. You want to be the guy that whether it's something big or something small, that they can feel comfortable to call you and you're going to follow through on them and make them look like a hero to their boards or to their boss.
That's amazing. I'd love to ask you this, Anthony. I mean, you've been doing this for so long. You guys, have got all these amazing reviews. But you've been in the business for a long time. And you just kind of touched on something just about communication. I don't know how if you've ever just like screwed something up terribly, but how do you handle how should I handle a situation if I just blow it? Right? Like, man, I said it was going to get done over here, like it in this way at this time, and for whatever reason, it just didn't go right. How do you communicate with the client when things just go wrong?
I think the biggest part about it is, like I touched on before, is treat a person the way you'd want to be treated and say, hey, listen, no one's perfect. This went wrong. And just don't try to come up with an excuse, especially if it's something that just went wrong. say, listen, this happened. It's in all my intentions to do the right thing for you and to fix this for you, and just come up with a way of, like, depending on what it is that went wrong, you know?
Okay.
So just trying to do the right thing for the person, you know?
Helpful. Helpful. Appreciate you letting me kind of dig in here and ask some, questions from an old pro. I'd love to just chat, just kind of here towards the end of our time. We talked about this a little, just kind of like how, Anthony Sons is different than some of the other companies in the market there, right? In the kind of New York and Queens market. You talked about kind of your way of looking at properties and having kind of a unique way of looking at each individual property. I'd love if you kind of describe a little bit more about what that is. What kind of makes you guys unique in that way?
So naturally, whether it's residential or commercial, the styles vary so much on what people are looking for. There's so many companies out there that they're looking to do things, a certain way. We're very diversified in many senses, in the sense where we look to design in accordance to what the customer is really looking for in terms of styles and the look that they're looking for. So we'll change our styles based on the style of the property that we're dealing with, and we'll give our recommendations, and we'll kind of integrate what the client is looking for and what we recommend. We're not set in our ways of how we think the home should look. There's I think that a client's gonna live in that house, they're gonna pull up to that house every day. They should love everything that's there. Not just because I said what's there. I think
Uh-huh.
they should have a huge part of what's there, and they say, you know what, I've always wanted this purple tree in front of my house, and look, now I have it. Versus where someone's going to come in and say, you know what, the style right now is green and white. Let's only do green and
Uh-huh.
white. I don't
Uh-huh.
agree with
I
that.
see.
So if that's what the customer wants, then we'll do it. But I think that everything within means should be done based on what the customer wants, since they're the one who's going to be living at the property and they're the ones who are paying for it.
Fantastic. Fantastic, Anthony. Well, thank you so much for coming on today and sharing all of your really valuable information and wisdom that you developed all these years running the company. If folks are in the Queens area, New York area, looking for a great, design kind of build landscaper and maintenance company to work with, what are the best ways to get in touch with you guys?
You can always reach out to us via phone, or you can visit our website and reach out to us through our website, or just come visit our shop. Everything is on our website.
Fantastic. So that website is aslandscapedesign.com. AS like Anthony and Sons. aslandscapedesign.com. Fantastic, Anthony. Well, thanks again for coming on the show today.
Thank you.